Welcome to the Explainer. Let's just jump right in today because we are tackling a beast of a challenge that pretty much plagues industrial and operational teams everywhere. We're talking about turning maintenance planning from a constant, giant source of organizational frustration into an absolute engine for workforce efficiency. If you've ever felt like your maintenance department is just, an incredibly expensive firefighting squad that's constantly reacting instead of preventing, well, you are definitely in the right place. We are going to unpack the 6 foundational principles that actually make planning work. But first, we really have to address the elephant in the room. Why is planning so frustrating in the first place? So many organizations invest a ton of money into planning departments, flashy software, endless meetings, only to find their highly skilled craft technicians are still just standing around waiting for parts. Or, even worse, the planners are getting dragged into today's emergencies. We've all seen it. That frustration almost always comes from a lack of clarity and blurred lines of responsibility. But we're going to fix that today by looking at a definitive solution. To get there, we need to understand the central concept of this whole explainer, which is what we call the crossroads. You see, at every single stage of maintenance planning, an organization faces a critical crossroads. And these aren't just minor, everyday operational choices. These are fundamental decisions about alternative ways to conduct your planning. The path a company chooses at each specific crossroads directly determines the ultimate success or total failure of their entire planning system. Simply put, there is a right way and a wrong way to navigate these intersections. To make sure we take the right path, we're going to follow a structured map of 6 proven principles today. We'll cover 1. The planning crossroads, 2. Separate and future-focused, 3. Files and time estimates, 4. Trusting the craft, and finally, 5. Measuring wrench time. All right, let's get started with Section 1, the planning crossroads. Moving right along to Section 2, separate and future-focused. Okay, this is where we really need to shift our operational mindset. Principles 1 and 2 establish the absolute bedrock of a successful department. If you get these wrong, the whole system just collapses. So Principle 1, planners must be organized into a completely separate group from the craft maintenance crews. Why? Because planners need to specialize in planning techniques. If you blur those lines, human nature basically dictates that today's emergencies will always cannibalize tomorrow's planning. The craft crew is there to execute present work and resolve day-of-job problems. Planners, on the other hand, are a separate entity and they must fiercely guard their focus on future work. Which leads us directly to Principle 2, and it sets a hard target for that future focus: 1 week. The planning group absolutely must concentrate on work that has not yet started. Their goal is to provide the maintenance department with a backlog of at least 1 week of planned, ready-to-execute work. Seriously, this is a non-negotiable metric. Having that dedicated backlog is exactly what lets you create a proper weekly schedule. Without it, you aren't really scheduling anything, you're just reacting.
But obviously, planners can't just do this in a vacuum, right? It builds into a really vital feedback loop. When a job actually kicks off, if a problem comes up, the technicians or supervisors handle it themselves, unless it is a massive emergency. The planners stay completely out of it. Once Step 1, job execution, is done, we move straight to Step 2, technician feedback. The lead tech gives the planners the rundown on any problems or changes to the plan. Then, in Step 3, the planner updates the existing job plan files. This beautiful cycle ensures that your future work plans are continuously improving.
That brings us to Section 3, files and time estimates. Now that our planners are totally focused on the future and we have a healthy feedback loop going, how do they actually execute their day-to-day jobs using data? Well, the data engine they rely on is actually incredibly simple. Principle 3 says planners need to maintain a secure file system based strictly on equipment tag numbers. This component-level system is brilliant because, let's face it, the vast majority of maintenance tasks are highly repetitive over time. By tracking data at the tag level, planners learn from previous work. It even tracks cost information, which is huge for helping leadership make those tough repair versus replace decisions. Plus, supervisors, technicians, and plant engineers are all trained to access these files themselves without constantly bugging the planner. Principle 4 addresses what is often the most dreaded task: estimating time. Planners use their own craft experience, organizational skills, and all that tag number file data we just talked about to estimate work orders. But the absolutely crucial point is this definition. An estimate is just a reasonable idea of what a capable technician requires to complete the job without any unusual problems. Planners shouldn't be inflating estimates by assuming, a meteor is going to strike the plant or the equipment will spontaneously combust. They plan for a smooth execution, relying on good communication and solid craft skills to make the estimate realistic. Moving into Section 4, trusting the craft. At the end of the day, maintenance is an inherently human endeavor, right? And that brings us to the very delicate balance of power between the people planning the work and the people actually turning the wrenches. Principle 5 is all about recognizing and trusting the skill of the crafts. The planner's job is strictly to determine the what, the scope of the request, the original intent, the general strategy. They'll include a preliminary procedure, sure, but it is the technician who determines the how. The craft techs use their actual on-the-ground expertise to get the specified work done. Planners aren't there to micromanage the wrench turning. They're just providing a structured runway so the technicians can take off smoothly. There's a quote that hits the nail perfectly on the head here. The planner's responsibility is what before how. Your planning group absolutely wants to develop highly detailed standard plans, but they also have a strict mandate to plan every single job that comes through, except for true emergencies. Because of that, the planner puts in as much detail as possible, fully knowing they're going to rely on the craft technicians to execute the specifics. Over time, through repeated jobs and that feedback loop, they work together to evolve much better procedures and checklists. And finally, Section 5, measuring wrench time. So we've got our first 5 principles humming along. But how do we actually know if this operational shift is working? Well, Principle 6 introduces us to the holy grail of metrics, wrench time. This is the primary measure of workforce efficiency and planning effectiveness. Wrench time is defined as the proportion of available to work time during which craft persons are not being kept from productively working on a job site by delays. It is literally the purest measurement of whether your highly skilled technicians are doing what you hired them to do, rather than just fighting through administrative or logistical mud. Think about what actually eats into a technician's typical day. You've got that first slice of actual wrench time, the productive stuff. But then there are the other slices of the day, waiting for parts or tools, traveling across the plant, securing clearances, waiting for assignments, or trying to track down missing equipment info. These are the delays that drastically shrink your productive wrench time. The entire goal of these planning principles is to attack those delay slices and shrink them down to the absolute bare minimum. And this is where it all culminates into the true incredible power of planning and scheduling. When work is properly planned before it's assigned, using those separate planners, the tag files, the clear scopes, it dramatically reduces unnecessary delays during the jobs. The parts are ready, the strategy is crystal clear. On top of that, when that planned work is successfully built into a one-week schedule, it drastically reduces the delays between jobs. Your technicians aren't just standing around a supervisor's desk waiting to know what to do next. The friction is completely gone. By navigating these 6 crossroads correctly, you literally transform your maintenance department from a reactive firefighting squad into a highly efficient, proactive machine. So I want to leave you with this question to reflect on regarding your own operations. Take a look at your craft crews tomorrow morning. Is your team actually maximizing their wrench time, or are they just waiting around for instructions? The answer to that is going to tell you exactly which crossroads you need to revisit. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I really hope this gives you the exact blueprint you need to optimize your planning.